Hi, so we're nearly at the end of June, and before I move on into the next projects, I wanted to invite you and myself to do a bit of a reflection over the last 6 months and just see what we actually created and where we are at. I think for creative people, especially, it's quite easy to like keep creating and keep producing content and doing things and without looking back at what we've already accomplished and even celebrate all the things that we've already done and take stock and then use whatever we've found out while we're reflecting to move forward into the next stage, which will help us to be much more focused and clear about what we're doing next. So you can ask yourself, what did I create in the last 6 months? I wrote down that I wrote 17 blog posts, 8 podcast episodes, and 16 YouTube videos, plus 5 YouTube videos for this new channel, and 3 shorts. I created 3 PDFs or guides that I sell on Gumroad. And I wrote 1 workshop at the start of the year. And some other projects that I had, like hand sewing a bookmark. I created a knitting series on my other YouTube channel. And I started a new channel, this one, the Creative Business Channel. And then I also created a few systems that help me with my work. So I created a better workflow for my newsletter, a simple guide to stay more focused, and a writing system to stay more consistent, which I talk about in another video that I can link up there. So just go through everything that you created in the last half a year and write it down and acknowledge it, all the projects, everything you can think of. And then you can ask yourself a few more questions. What am I proud of creating? For me, these were the podcast episodes that I created in March. I just really liked the way they came together and they felt so flowy and free, the way I spoke. And I don't know, they just made me happy anyway. The next question then, what surprised me? What surprised you in your business? For me, this was that I keep getting YouTube subscribers from a few old videos that I made a year or 2 years ago. And I just keep getting new subscribers every day, which is brilliant. But it's strange how all my traffic comes from nearly only 4 or 5 videos that are quite popular. Then another question you can ask yourself, what was easier than expected? For me, this was creating my first workshop. I also had like a few days of hyperfocus and just created my mini workshop of how to create a mini course. Yeah, I was really happy the way it came together so easily and quickly. And what took longer than expected? For me, this was turning podcast episodes into videos. Like I love recording audios, but I'm not that great yet at creating videos, especially not in front of the camera. I can do audios and do B-roll, but for this channel, I want to practice and get better at recording A-roll videos, which means like looking at the camera. I probably do a bit of both. Now let's ask ourselves what worked in the last 6 months. Looking back, what gave me energy? What helped me grow? And what produced results? So you can think about the content that you enjoyed creating most, videos or posts that connected with people, habits that helped you, and experiments that surprised you. I noticed that what really gave me energy in the last 6 months was like creating those podcast episodes and like the system I used. And I have this other video the Calm Writing System, where I talk about it. And I use that for many of my podcast episodes, and I really enjoyed doing this. So going for a walk and recording my thoughts and then just turning them into something like super spontaneous. So in the morning, I didn't even know what I was going to talk about. And by the end of the walk, I would have an outline for my new episode, and usually just record it straight away before the inspiration is gone. So this is something that really worked for me. Then on the other hand, which videos or posts connected with people or which ones helped me grow, they're actually a little bit different, because I think like those ones that I enjoyed, they also connected with people. So that's the best thing if both of them work. But the things that I earn money with right now are actually blog posts that are doing well on Pinterest or Google, and they're usually craft tutorials. Mostly knitting, sewing, things like this. And then the next question, what didn't work? So this isn't about failure, it's more about noticing and then adjusting your path and whatever you're doing. So what felt harder than expected? What took a lot of effort without much return? And what do I keep trying to force? So you can try to be really honest here. Sometimes the most valuable insight comes from seeing what isn't working. I definitely put a lot of effort and work into some things that didn't give me much return for the time I put in. So I want to adjust that going into the next 6 months, because I'm just really trying to look at what made me feel alive, what I really enjoyed creating, and then also what resonated with people and that I could make more of. So the next question then is, what have I learned? So this is probably the most important section. What lessons have emerged from the last 6 months? I can give you a few examples of my own lessons that I wrote down. One of them is simplicity works better than complexity. So the simpler, the better. And like whenever things get too complicated, I ask myself, how can I make this easier? How can I make this simpler? Another one is consistency matters more than perfection. So I try to show up consistently with something and create something online, but this can be anything. So it can either be a short or a post, or it can be something longer like a video or a podcast episode. Whatever I feel like creating that day, I try to create, or else I even hyper focus and create lots of things and then schedule them out over the next few days or weeks. And now the last question here is, what am I letting go of? So a new season often requires letting go of something. Maybe this could be unrealistic expectations, too many projects, comparing yourself to others, chasing every new idea. What are you choosing not to carry into the next 6 months? And after answering all these questions, you can look ahead and focus on the next 6 months. So instead of setting 20 goals, I'm trying to identify a few clear priorities. For me, the number 3 always works because it's just much more, it's clearer and easier to remember. So I set myself 3 priorities. The first one, for example, could be continue growing my YouTube channel. The second one, create and sell more digital products. And the third, build simple systems and routines that help me accomplish these things. So my goal isn't to do everything and be everywhere. It's just to know what matters most. This reflection really helps me to determine what are the things that I need to focus on. This reflection has already made me feel calmer and clearer. And I think sometimes we don't need another course or strategy or even another idea. Sometimes we just need to stop long enough to look at what we've already created, where we've been, and where we're going. And if you would love to do your own mid-year reflection, I would love to know what's one thing you're proud of from the last 6 months, and what's one priority you set yourself for the next 6 months. You can share in the comments if you like. I would love to hear about it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon again.